Welcome to World War G, Ogden, Utah's #1 longest running podcast. I'm Troy.
Guys, I want you to meet a really good friend of mine. This is Troy.
I'm AJ.
AJ? What kind of name is AJ? Oh, you race cars?
A pretty special day. Pretty red letter day here.
Yeah.
AJ was on time.
I have a reason for that.
You rolled up at 11 o'clock on the dot.
Yeah. No, I looked at my clock. I'm like, wow, damn, it's 11. But I know exactly why.
Okay.
And it's because it's the return of football, the regular season.
Is that what it is?
I've got my Vikings hoodie on right here. And their game is at 2:25 today.
Oh, I see. So there's something really important that you need to make sure you get to. You can be here on time. Is that it? That's pretty much what you just told me.
Hey, don't get too used to this.
Yeah,
you know, it's a one-time thing. Most of their games are on later.
That also tells me that you can be here on time.
Yeah.
It's just, this has been a choice.
Damn it. That's like when you purposely mess up the laundry and then you're like, oh, I'm no good at it. I can't do it anymore kind of a deal, right? So then they're like, no, I'll do it. I'll take care of you kind of a deal. And then one time you're just like, oh, there's a lot of laundry here. I better do a load. And you're doing it and they're like, wait, you can do the laundry?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to, damn it.
Yep. You just kind of dug your own grave.
I really did. Yeah.
Okay, I'm less important than football. I get it. No, not me. The podcast is less important.
Our listeners.
Our listeners are less important than football. Got it. Good to know. Well,
I mean, it's nice to know where they stand, right?
Not denying it, is he? Okay. Let's get into today in Geek History.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane.
And today in Geek History.
Well, today is kind of it was like the perfect storm because today is 9/11.
Yes.
And every time that I go to any article to see what took place during this day, I was just getting 9/11 bombarded with 9/11. So I kind of wanted to, but it's a rare opportunity that we actually get the podcast falls on the 9/11, the date itself. So I kind of wanted to take a minute to talk about where we were, our experiences with the whole tragedy, and then also I've got this list here of quite a couple of movies that were impacted by 9/11 because it's not just people, but it's also our movies that are impacted.
It's the real important thing. That's the real tragedy. That the movies were affected.
Yeah.
It's like with the coronavirus. People were dying by the thousands, but no new movies were getting made.
Right? It was dark days. I had to go back and rewatch The Office and stuff.
I know. I had to watch crappy classic films. All right.
So yeah, for me personally, I remember I was headed up to band practice. My mom had just barely dropped us off and we were playing, and all of a sudden somebody we were just playing our songs, playing up on the field. It was all fun and games and everything, and it was early in the morning, and then somebody came out on the field and they're just like, hey, the trade towers, they were just hit. And it was crazy. We all kind of dropped what we were doing, not our instruments, but we all dropped what we were doing and went inside, and for the rest of the day we just watched the television. And then my mom went to take my younger brother up to school right after, and then when she was hearing on the news, because she was listening to it, she heard the second the other tower just got hit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just pretty crazy because I remember the whole entire day that's all we did. How about for you?
Well, so I remember it was really early in the morning. I don't know when I don't remember the time exactly when the first tower got hit, but being in New York and we're in Utah, we're a couple hours behind.
Right.
So it was super early in the morning here. I had just gotten dropped off for driver's ed. So I remember walking into school. I remember sitting down at the desk, totally oblivious because it must have just happened like right after.
Yeah.
Because we were listening to the radio, right? And nobody was saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in, sat down. I'm blurry-eyed. I'm tired. And I remember a girl walks in. I think her name was Stephanie. I think Stephanie Wetton. I think that was her name. And she talked about, she didn't say specifically, but she said, oh, that, you know, it just been hit. I think she even said one collapse. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And it really wasn't until first period that I understood exactly what was going on.
Right.
And just like you said, we did no work that entire day.
Mm-hmm.
Like the students, the teachers, we were all just glued to the screen, to the TV screen.
I don't even know. I don't even remember if I did jump around. I don't believe I did jump around from class to class. It was pretty much just we were there at that class the whole entire day.
I jumped around. I went from one class to another each period, but I don't remember, because there's usually at least that one teacher that's like, guys, we need to do work. I know this is sad, but we need to get back to work, right?
There was not one teacher doing that.
No. I even had seminary that day, and even it's the same thing.
Right.
We didn't do anything there either. It was all just watching the TV. I also remember, and this is seared in my mind, after school, I was walking home. It was dead silent. I mean, dead silent. You never really understand how loud the outside is until there's no noise anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was no planes in the sky. There was nobody on the road.
Yeah.
And I remember walking home from our school, from Ben Lomond. I was walking up 9th, I think that is, up there. And the street was lined with American flags.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was really, again, it was dead silent. And I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone.
Right. It was this huge, like, somber, like, feeling throughout the whole nation. And even, like, the following day.
Yeah.
You know, and week.
Yeah.
Just, like, getting more reports.
I would even say, like, for a good year or so.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that really impacted a lot. Until it didn't anymore.
Still changed a lot of, like, our processes and things that we do, like, here in the country. But yeah.
Especially when, you know, going to the airport and
but it also did impact quite a few movies. I won't do each one of them, but I wanted to talk about a couple of them. This is a list on Yahoo Movies, the 10 movies that were directly affected by 9/11.
Okay.
First, right off the bat, was Zoolander. So, Zoolander was slated to release 2 weeks after, and it was released 2 weeks after 9/11. Post 9/11, it flopped in theaters. People weren't, like, in the mood. I mean, it's a classic, and it's got some, like, hilarious lines and parts and iconic, like, sayings and stuff with it. Like, it's a great one, like Zoolander 2. Meh. But the first one,
I think people found it after, like, they found it on DVD and VHS and stuff. I think that's where it gained its popularity.
Right.
Because you're right, in theaters, it completely bombed.
The second one, Spider-Man. This is the Tobey Maguire one.
Yes.
So I remember, and I know it's not a Mandela effect, but I distinctly remember seeing in one of the trailers, there was this scene where Spider-Man shoots this web across the two towers, and this helicopter hits into it and kind of, like, gets stopped. Yeah. I looked for it, and I have, like, in years. I don't know if I've been able to, like, find it, but I distinctly remember that happening, and then they talk about it. Yeah, that's what they had to cut, that scene and a couple other scenes of downtown. Let's see, True Lies 2. Now you might be saying to yourself, there was never a True Lies 2. James Cameron had wanted to do a sequel to the '94 classic, but this is a direct quote. Like, he was planning on doing it back in 2001, but he said, terrorism wasn't funny anymore.
Right.
Like,
Right.
like kind of shot yourself in the foot there, but he's right that like I don't think we saw a terrorist attack in a movie or in a video game or anything for a couple of years.
Yeah.
People were just like more sensitive to that, and let's steer clear. Let's stick to the Nazis and shit.
Right. we can always kill Nazis.
Yeah.
Anytime, any year. Nazis are always good for mowing down.
In Men in Black 2, Agent K battled an alien atop the World Trade Center. Yeah, they got rid of that. But in Men in Black 3, there was actually a shot under construction of the Freedom Tower in 2012 as kind of a nod to that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of unique. They'd already finished that filming where they were going to be battling atop the World Trade Center, and then it's just like, let's take that out.
Yeah, not so much.
Another movie that was impacted by 9/11, Lilo and Stitch. Now you might be thinking it's kind of weird that the House of Mouse was impacted by this, but let's see. Stitch and his friends there's a scene that they had to take out of the film where Stitch and his friends hijacked a Boeing 747 jet, flying it through Honolulu City.
Yeah.
Flying it around different places, including around like the mountains and also buildings.
I can see why that would be a little problematic.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, I believe that's the last one.
Okay.
But those are just actually no. Hold on.
The only ones that really, of any.
Oh, no, here's two more that you'll appreciate. Okay. So Nosebleed, Jackie Chan was due to star in an action movie set to play. He was going to be playing a window washer that learned about a terrorist attack to actually take down the two towers.
Ooh.
Yeah. That movie got canned, and this was like initially they'd planned to do this like long before this even happened.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that actually came to fruition. There was a rumor that circulated shortly after the attack that Chan had been due to film on the North Tower the morning of September 11th, although this was later proven to just be false.
Right.
The Incredibles. So there was going to be a scene where Mr. Incredible took out his frustration on an abandoned warehouse and punched into the side of it, knocking over a couple of different other towers. Pixar and those guys decided, we might scratch that idea. Okay. Those are the last two.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's crazy how that kind of happens. Like all these events, it's interesting to me because I find that a lot of the times, like when something tragic happens, there's a lot of people that are either quick to come out with a movie because that's kind of a hot topic right now.
Right.
Terrorists. Let's make all these movies about terrorists. Or, during the Russian, when the Russians were a big thing, they were making a ton of different movies about Russians, beating up Russians.
Yeah.
But then it works just the opposite, where a lot of the times these movies, they'll kind of cut scenes or, let's steer clear from that for a little bit.
And on the opposite end of that, I think it's just as bad making a movie centered around the events of 9/11 just to get people talking, because people did that.
Oh yeah,
a few years
that Nicolas Cage one.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was pretty quick.
Yeah,
it was weird because the movie Pearl Harbor came out around that same time, I believe. And I remember thinking, I'm like, okay, Pearl Harbor, yeah, that took place a while ago. Yeah, you've given it enough time that now you can kind of make a movie about it. But 9/11, yeah, it was. And even a couple of different documentaries.
Yeah, I mean, the documentaries I can kind of get, but when you have 9/11 in your film as kind of like a shock factor. There was a movie, I think it was with Robert Pattinson. I can't remember the name of the film. But they never really talked about 9/11. It was never discussed. But the very end scene...
Was it Good Time?
I don't know. But the very end scene, it was revealed that he was in one of the towers on September 11th. The very last scene.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was really just... It was just a cheap shock factor there. And I think that's worse.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Do you think that now, like, it's been enough time that they could potentially make another 9/11 movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's been, what?
21 years? 21 years?
Yeah, 21 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if it's done respectfully.
Right.
You know, and
the dust is kind of settled,
so to speak. Yeah. Yeah, I think you could do it. Sure.
Same.
All right. So last week, well, let me say this. This is going to be a new segment, semi-ongoing segment called Which Fictional Fandom Would Flourish and Which Would Flounder During a Zombie Apocalypse? And the whole reason this came around is because last week, I don't remember if it was you or me, but one of us made kind of a comment about which superhero would be the best in a zombie apocalypse.
Right. But we wanted to kind of open that up a little bit more to other fictional characters because we think that there's potential for some really interesting conversations.
Yeah. So for today, we want to start out with the Avengers.
Yes. Starting strong.
Starting strong. Let's see. Which one you want to... Are we just doing... Do you want to do just like the main...
Yeah, kind of
Avengers?
Yeah.
Like the one everybody knows from the movies and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's start then...
with their leader. Let's just kind of go in the order as far as movies go, maybe? Iron Man? Or were you thinking something else?
Well, I was thinking like the least important and the most important.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And see if there's actually a correlation there.
Yeah. We can do that.
So let's start with Hawkeye.
Okay.
Hawkeye is basically just a normal dude with incredible marksman skills.
I personally like, and we were kind of leaning whether we would bite or, I'm all right.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, I think I would bite on this one.
Okay.
Because we've seen... Okay, but first, before we even talk about that, I feel like we need to talk about what kind of zombies we're talking. Because these are superheroes, I'm thinking they're going to be more like 28 days later, like kind of faster, mutated. Not like The Walking Dead, like they were pretty damn slow.
Well, I mean, if you have a zombie apocalypse in any sort of these universes, they're not going to be your usual slow-walking, like you were saying, Walking Dead or George Romero zombies.
Like I Am Legend, kind of quick moving.
Yeah, so I think they would fit in with the fandom itself. So maybe for this one, the zombies might have, maybe even one or two might be able to fly or,
Okay.
might have a few superpowers of their own.
Yeah. And for me, I think I would bite on this. We've seen with like Norman Reedus's character in The Walking Dead, archery comes in handy.
Yes, it does.
When you can just like either make your own arrows or you can gather them and they can be kind of stealthy and quiet. Also, we've seen Hawkeye as like the Last Ronin.
Yeah.
So he's a badass with a blade too. He can go around just like stealthily, like Michonne style, and just like chop down everybody. So I think he would do well.
I think he would do well if there wasn't hordes of them like World War Z style.
Right.
If it was like a Walking Dead where you came across one or two every now and again, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah.
But if it was him facing down a horde, like he's not gonna last.
He did pretty well. Like, that one scene where he's like running away from those creatures and jumping out tubes and diving and climbing up buildings.
But still,
yeah.
If 1 versus 200, I mean, and you only got some arrows, like you're not gonna survive too long.
That's true.
Now, if you need a guy to watch your back, if you're going into a place and he's up like on a perch or something, yeah, he's perfect for that.
Oh yeah.
So I think depending on the setting, I think Hawkeye would do well.
It seems like a cop out. I need a definitive answer. I need are you taking him or you no? I feel like I would personally take him because I do like that whole idea. He's surveying the land, looking around, being like, okay, there's like a horde over here. We're gonna have to move. We're gonna have to move south. We're gonna go this direction, taking down a couple of different ones. But I get your point. Like, if you were to go pick him and like the Hulk, like the Hulk's gonna be able to take on a horde by himself.
Yeah.
Right. But
man, this is tough.
Because you want to, because it is like you said, certain situations. But are you gonna, if you're only able to pick a few Avengers?
So in general, if I'm not picking specific places, in general, I'm gonna say nah, I'm all right.
Really? Yeah. Okay, I'm taking Hawkeye.
All right.
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
She's kind of on par with him.
She is,
but she relies pretty heavily on guns,
and close combat.
Right. Which you want to be as far away from these, you want to be sitting back on these guys.
Black Widow has never shown herself to be like the kind of marksman that Clint is.
Right.
She is a good marksman, yes, obviously.
Right.
But she's not, she's not never. She's never not. How would you say that? She's going to miss.
Right. Yeah.
Occasionally, whereas Hawkeye rarely ever misses.
Yeah.
So that combined with the fact that in order to deal with people, she'd have to be up close.
And ammo's probably limited, right?
I would say also on that one, nah, I'm all right.
Same. Yeah. Who are we going next?
Let's go with, I got like 4
Ant-Man?
heavy hitters here. Well, for sticking with like the main crew.
Yeah. The OG crew?
Yeah. Let's go with Captain America.
Okay. I thought long and hard about this, and as much as I do love me some Captain America, I'm going to have to be like, nah, I'm all right. The whole reason for this is during a zombie apocalypse, it's not every man for himself, but you have to kind of have more of that mentality. And I feel like his nobility would just get us in trouble. Yeah, he's got some super strength and he's strong, but it's like hand-to-hand, close combat kind of a stuff, right? And he doesn't have he has regular human flesh. So I feel like he could potentially get bit, and he'd be like, guys, we gotta save this one person. It's like, fuck you, I'm gonna save myself. Like, I'm gonna stay over here. So I think that nobility might get him into some sticky situations to go risk the whole crew for one person.
Or himself.
Yeah.
Initially, I was thinking I would take him. I would bite on him.
Yeah.
Because his fighting ability aside, and his other superpowers aside, he's an incredible tactician.
Oh, that's true.
And he's a really good planner. So he might be able to maneuver the team around and through sticky situations. But
he did risk a whole team and a whole army to go save the Winter Soldier.
Exactly.
His buddy.
Exactly.
Right?
He thinks a lot with his heart. And in a zombie apocalypse,
there's no heart.
There's no heart.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to say, nah, I'm all right.
Same.
Man, that's 3 up, 3 down.
Yeah.
All right, let's go now with Iron Man.
Iron Man, see, Tony Stark, he was able to survive in, when he was captured. And he was also able to, use anything he had, because he's a genius.
He is.
So I feel like even though he'd be kind of limited on some things, he's got anything. He's like MacGyver, basically, right?
Yeah, Iron Man is at his best when he is improvising in situations.
Yeah. He's just like, oh, let me put this over here and create this.
And when it comes to thinking with your heart, he doesn't do that.
No.
He thinks with his brain.
Uh-huh.
And he thinks logically. And so he might be one of the better people to have around. Because he can, if he has his Iron Man suit, he's good for protection. He's good for attack and defense.
He's not going to get bit. Yeah.
He's not going to get bit.
He can also, because he's basically invented cold fusion, he's got endless power, so he's not going to be without his suit.
And knowing Tony, he's probably already planned for this.
Yeah.
He probably has a suit of armor that's made specifically for a zombie apocalypse.
Well, that nanotechnology is pretty impressive, what it can do.
And you remember in that first Iron Man where he had the tech when he went back to that country and he killed all those guys by focusing in on all their heads. Remember that?
Right.
He could use that with the zombies.
Pop, 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 pop.
Blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I was thinking about this, and I was just like, well, maybe I wouldn't take him because during a zombie apocalypse, there's not going to be much power or resources and stuff available to him. But he could make it himself out of anything,
and he could make a solar powered Iron Man suit. 100%.
100%. That'd look pretty cool, huh?
It would look cool.
Yeah.
So Iron Man, I'll bite.
Yep. Same.
For sure. Let's go to Thor.
Thor, I do like that he's a god, and lightning and thunder and stuff. He can zap the hell out of a lot of zombies.
Take out a lot of people.
A lot of zombies. Yeah. Mjolnir or whatever he's building.
That's an interesting question. Would lightning affect zombies? Because they don't really have a nervous system.
Right.
They do kind of still have a brain, but barely.
I don't know if I've ever seen a zombie, in any of the films or anything I've ever watched,
get struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're basically like a shrub.
Pretty much. They're a walking shrub.
Yeah.
It should have been the name of the show. The Walking Shrub. That's an interesting question. Would lightning affect a zombie? I
don't think they would.
I don't think it would.
No.
Because what does lightning do? It shuts down your organs.
Right.
It burns you.
Yeah.
Right?
It could toast them, maybe.
You could toast them, but
right.
They're still going to keep coming. They're not going to feel it.
Right. Keep walking.
So I don't know if the lightning is going to help. However, he does have the hammer.
Yes. Well, or does he have Mjolnir? Because it's,
I would assume.
Yeah.
So he can, because we've seen him, he's able to throw it in concentric circles and take a lot of people out. So he can do that.
Yeah. Or just let it fly around and do whatever. Knock people out.
He could also just summon the Bifrost and peace out. And
go somewhere where
go to Asgard.
Yeah.
It's I'm not dealing with this. Bye.
So he'd probably take us with him then, right? If we're with him. Be hey guys, let's go to Asgard.
Yeah.
All right, just drink me. Yeah, I think I would. Because plus, okay, maybe if it was Ragnarok Thor and not so much Love and Thunder Thor,
right?
Because he'd get annoying then,
right?
For sure. I'd be much like Peter Quill and just pissed off at him and dude, shut up. All right, we get it. Plus, men and women are pretty well, okay, here's a question though, because men and women are pretty limited in the zombie apocalypse, right? Because everybody's getting killed. Would you really have a chance with the ladies if you've got
that's
God
what
of
you're
Thunder
about?
Population and starting the Earth? Yes.
Only you would think about that. I would be thinking about survival.
That is survival.
I wouldn't be thinking
That is survival.
I wouldn't be thinking about getting my dick wet.
Sex is survival. If you want to repopulate and start up the Earth again,
survival for the species.
They're all gonna be blonde like these children.
See, here's what you're doing. You're thinking with your heart. You're not thinking with your brain.
No. This is to grow the Earth back.
But at this point, okay, maybe that's after, but right now in the moment when you're in the zombie apocalypse, are you really going to think about who you're going to fuck next? No. You're thinking about surviving, your self-preservation, your survival.
That's true.
You're not thinking about, hey, where's the ladies?
Well, but that's like survival and that's like preservation
That's fine
later
after.
on. Yeah.
That's fine after.
Yeah.
Once it's all
And then
done.
you hope you have a good personality, huh?
But during,
yeah. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out here. I'm thinking.
That's fine.
I'm working every angle here,
That's
Troy.
fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, for me personally, I wouldn't be thinking about that.
So you're gonna bite on the love doctor, the thunder?
On Thor?
Yeah.
I'm going back and forth on it because
he does rely heavily on like lightning.
Plus, he loves a good battle.
Yeah.
So even if he could go back to Asgard, he may not. He may just want to stay there and fight.
He's like, yeah, let's take them all on, guys.
Yeah. You know what? He's too much of a wild card. I'm going to say, no, I'm all right. It could go. It's 50-50 for me on it.
Yeah. I'm right there as well. He's just like, yeah, for battle. I'm like, I don't have the abilities you do, dude. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to have to pass on him. Plus, I have a better chance with the ladies.
All right. I think we only have one left.
Yes.
And that is the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. Okay. So, is it Smart Hulk? Or is it...
I'm thinking it's...
where he goes back and forth, because zombies might be able to catch him if he's Bruce Banner.
Mm-hmm. If we're doing the core group, then I would say if we're thinking 2012 Avengers, that movie, then it's that Hulk.
Okay. Where he's like, I'm always angry.
Yeah.
Like, but if he's sleeping or he's got a low resting heart rate, like he's Bruce Banner.
Right.
But he is pretty damn smart. And as soon as he hulks out, he's going to be able to take on thousands by himself, and they can't bite through his skin. Yeah. I mean, bullets don't even affect him.
Yep.
Is he too much of a loose cannon wild card?
Well, that is the other thing. Yeah. Because you may be in, like, a horde of zombies all coming after you, and you're in the middle of all this, and all of a sudden, he just jumps off somewhere a mile down the road and goes fights these other zombies down here, leaving you to get devoured.
Yeah, hey, come back here. That's true.
And it's not Smart Hulk, so you can't really control him.
No. You'd probably get like killed in the... You'd think you were a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
Grab you Loki style and just bash you around.
Yeah, you'd get like killed in the wake probably.
Yeah. He actually does an attack where he slaps his hands together and you die.
Yeah. And your brain explodes. Again, I think he's too much of a wild card. I'm gonna have to say no. I'm all right. As odd as that is to say, because if we're just thinking who would survive a zombie apocalypse, Hulk is right up there. But
yeah,
if you are depending on these people for your survival, then I would say no.
So who do you have?
Iron Man.
So you have Iron Man. That's it. Yeah, that's it. I've got Hawkeye and Iron Man. Wow. Pretty. We went through the Avengers pretty quick as far as like not taking them.
Well, you didn't give your definitive answer on Hulk. You bite or no? I'm all right.
I'm all right. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
All right. So yeah, I just had Iron Man on my team. I may have to, since we're gonna do fandoms, I may have to like keep a spreadsheet about who I'm actually keeping. That way, eventually, I'm gonna have like a whole team.
Yeah, you'll have your own assembled Avengers, right?
We can do like the Avengers and the X-Men and Justice League and
TMNT, Power Rangers.
Yep. Transformers.
Oh,
G.I. Joe.
Mario,
Gargoyles. List is endless.
It really is.
All right. Also, if you think, hey, maybe we're wrong or you have a different opinion, let us know.
Yes.
All right, let's get to this week in Geek.
This week in
Geek
Brazilian government tells Apple it can't sell iPhones without chargers anymore. The country also ordered Apple to pay $2.3 million in fines.
Oh, interesting.
Brazil dropped quite the bomb on Apple this week when the nation's government told the tech giant that it can no longer sell iPhones within the borders without a wall charger. They basically went on to say that it's kind of an incomplete product, and they also slapped them with like a huge ass fine for this. Apple, however, did kind of say, hey, we're just thinking of the environment, and we like trying to reduce, because everybody also already has like an charger, so it's not really necessary to throw in another one in there. But
yeah,
Brazil's not biting.
That's interesting.
They went on to say that it was like a burden to the customers as well.
Switch over to USB-C cables and chargers.
Yeah, that was their solution. Okay. To be able to switch over to the C rather than because if they're so concerned about the environment, then switch over to this one that's like more efficient.
Right.
That C cable.
Right.
And Apple wants to keep it in the family and keep everything like separate, doing their own thing.
It's been a minute since I bought my phone, so I'm trying to remember. It comes with a charger, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. See, and
so does it not in Brazil then? Apparently?
It does, but Apple was saying with their new release, I don't believe there was one with the last iPhone, the 13, and then they're also coming out with the 14 next week, which you can upgrade to that. So it does seem a little bit like an incomplete product, because whenever you purchase a vacuum or even if you're doing a smaller item, typically it comes with a charger for it.
Yeah, typically.
Yeah, with if you are buying a mustache trimmer, or a beard trimmer or something, and it didn't come with the plug to plug it in, you would think it was an incomplete product.
Sure. Okay. Interesting.
But I get that everybody and their dog has quite a few cables, has quite a few chargers. But yeah, Brazil's not having it at all.
And they're ordering Apple to pay $2.3 million. That's nothing to Apple.
No, yeah, that's chump change.
Yeah, that's what they find in their couch cushions over there.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't
know how big the sales are actually over in Brazil.
Yeah.
Whether they're a huge market, but I imagine they probably buy quite a few.
This was such an American mentality of mine that I just had.
What's that?
Thinking that, oh yeah, I guess iPhones are in more countries than just the U.S. It's of course they are. They're worldwide.
Yeah.
Dumbass. I was thinking does Apple sell phones in other countries?
Yeah.
Or just America? Oh, God. Wow. Sorry. I'm a dumb American. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a charger and the phone kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because I know over in England, their outlets are different than ours.
They are.
You need
an adapter.
An adapter.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's kind of the same thing with Brazil, and maybe that's why there's some issues here.
No, because I believe that they already have those adapters for those different places. I'm when I was over in Europe, they already had they came pretty standard.
Huh.
When you'd buy something, that they had that type of plug. They'd already taken that into consideration.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out, why does Apple sell their phones without chargers in Brazil?
No, they've been doing they're doing it. Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm not getting about this story.
Have you gotten the newest, latest, and greatest phone from iPhone?
No, this is a
I'm not sure if a couple years back they stopped doing that, but Brazil's like they've had enough of it, and it's kind of annoying because it's an incomplete product.
Yeah. I don't know. It's. I have to look into it more. That's weird. All right. Anyway, let me move on. Settlers of Catan, which is kind of a big deal here in Utah for some reason, is becoming a holographic AR board game in 2023. The multiplayer board game, The Settlers of Catan, has been one of the most popular games for over 25 years. In the game, players build cities and roads on the titular island of Catan. And now, this ever popular game is about to take a big leap in the future. According to a report coming from The Verge, Catan is transforming into a new augmented reality gaming system. Catan Tilt 5 AR. So basically taking the game and making it holographic.
It has potential. I don't know if the purists are gonna really appreciate this because similar games like you've got other games like Warhammer and all these other things where a lot of the times people they like that, like they like those pieces and they like customizing them, and not so much with like Settlers of Catan. But it's still nice to have like the physical board rather than just playing everything online. I play with my friends occasionally, and yeah, it does speed up the whole process, and you don't really have to think about like your money and everything. But I've played Uno, and I've played Phase 10 or Risk, Monopoly, some of these other board games like online. And it's not the same experience as sitting around with a group of friends at a board table, like board game table, and playing.
You're right. It's not, because I've done that too. And you're basically just clicking on stuff.
Right.
It's like there's not really much strategy involved, and there's no social aspect to it.
It's a little bit different because you do have, on the other hand, you do have like Mario Party, but there's also those mini games and other stuff, and you're competing, and there's still a video game aspect to it and a need for it to be a video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, I don't know if it needs to go that direction.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what they're planning on doing, because if you can play with other people who have the headset, maybe that'll be a different experience. But if it's just going to be you,
right,
and like maybe simulated other players or like AI other players or something, I don't know.
I can only play a couple of hands of Uno if I'm playing against robots or AIs.
Yeah.
So like it is a little bit more fun if you do have a group of players and friends playing with you, but still it's just click and yeah. Netflix Arcane is the first streaming series to win an Emmy Award for animation. Arcane, the popular Netflix animated series based on the League of Legends video game, has won an Emmy for Outstanding Animated Program at the Creative Arts Emmy Awards ceremony, on top of 3 other animated-related trophies it earned this year. It was in pretty good company because they did have Marvel's What If on Disney Plus. They also had Bob's Burgers, Simpsons, Rick and Morty, and Netflix also brought like in previous years, Netflix has brought like Big Mouth and BoJack Horseman. They have been nominated, but they've never won.
Yeah.
Arcane was the first one to actually win.
Interesting.
And I think it has a lot to do with the animation and the voice actors and the story. Have you had a chance to check this one out?
No.
One of my coworkers had suggested that I check this out a while back, and I've already given a review on the podcast, but it's a really pretty fascinating story and really interesting, and kind of leaves off on a cliffhanger, and I'm excited for the direction that they go with this. And it's crazy that was the first one to actually win. I would have thought that there was like, The Simpsons would have won years ago.
You would think.
Or even like Rick and Morty, or something. BoJack Horseman, that last season was like so poignant and dark, but like fantastic at the same time. And like there's a couple of monologue speeches that he gives during like his mother's funeral that you're just like, the whole episode's just him at the pulpit, but it was captivating. So I'm really surprised that none of these other ones have actually won, but good on them, and that kind of opens the door, I think, for a lot of other like animation studios to bring awesome new material to the table for a chance to win these awards.
Sure.
It's kind of it's like that moment that we had a while back when these streaming services actually were competing with like regular TV, and they were starting to win all the awards. I know HBO Max like swept the awards for quite some time with some of the programs that they were bringing.
Yes.
But before that, it was just like, you know, TV shows that you'd see like Modern Family and some of these other ones that were just on television.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're on these streaming services, and it kind of gave some clout to these streaming services. So I think that's also going to give some clout to these animated studios.
I think so too. I think it's now they've kind of gone through that door.
Yeah.
You know, now it's kind of might give other people a bit more confidence.
True. Yeah. The same can be said, you know, when like The Shape of Water, a horror like creature movie, you know, winning Best Picture.
Yeah.
Like it kind of gives these other creators hope, and that door's been opened, that it doesn't seem like too bizarre to see one of these things win.
And inspiration. It can help them. It can inspire them to make better, more interesting, more creative stories.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
But definitely check it out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I should check that out. It's actually the first time I'm ever hearing of this. But yeah, I'll have to check it out. So I do love, you know me, I do love a good fossil story. I brought several of them to the podcast.
Yeah.
But next to that, another thing I really like, almost almost tied with how much I like it, is a good auction story for movie props.
Yeah.
Han Solo's blaster, the one he used in Episode 4, A New Hope, just went up for auction. Was sold via the Rock Island Auction Company, and it sold for $1 million.
If I had crazy stupid money, I'd buy this one in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
that'd be
I've
one
said
of those
it
items.
many times. I could never be rich because I buy shit like this. Let's see. There's a blaster from A New Hope just sold at auction and went for the not small amount of $1 million. So this was Han's DL-44 heavy blaster pistol. According to the auction site, this prop was the only surviving blaster pistol originally used by Harrison Ford.
Oh, wow.
Both during filming and also for the promotion of the original 1977 George Lucas Star Wars film. In other words, this is the blaster that took out Greedo.
He shot first.
Which left the poor owner of the Mos Eisley Cantina to clean up the mess. It also shot a lot of Imperial stormtroopers and occasionally even hit one.
Yeah, he was just almost as bad as the stormtroopers
Yeah.
when it came to shooting.
Yeah.
He was much better with the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, there's a picture of it.
It's weird to me, but like $1 million doesn't seem like that much for this cool of a piece.
I mean, it's iconic.
Yeah.
This is one of the most iconic weapons, I think, in all of cinema history.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it was screen used by one of the biggest actors in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I would think it might go for a bit more, but...
Same.
Apparently not. And it still looks good, too. I mean, like I said, there's a picture of it, and it's still in pretty good shape.
I mean, for the most part, it was just in the holster, right?
Yeah.
Maybe pulled out every once in a while to shoot, and
it's
back in there.
It's lost its luster a little bit, but
right,
obviously, but it still looks really good.
Huh?
I'd love to have that.
Right.
Any piece of like Star Wars, like an actual prop, man, I'd love to have it.
I know you, like, a while back, you were looking at that website that you'd go there constantly, like, just looking for different, like, memorabilia.
Yeah.
Have you found any that are more, like, in the Troy budget?
No. I mean,
Star Wars?
I mean, yes, but it was nothing that was really, like, kind of,
that cool. Yeah.
because all the really cool stuff is fucking expensive.
Right.
But I mean, I found like
Name of the episode.
no, name of the episode I think is the Walking Shrub. But I found a few like playing cards or like fake money from a movie, or
if you're gonna have a piece like that, you're gonna want something that's more of a conversational piece
exactly
that people would actually like know or recognize.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have a fake wad of fake money and be like, "Oh, this was in some French film." Like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Who cares? Yeah,
I actually once found I'm kicking myself that I didn't buy it.
yeah.
Remember the movie Real Steel?
Yes.
With Hugh Jackman, right?
Yeah. That's an underrated film.
It is.
Yeah, it's really good.
The sunglasses he wore, I found those on one of these sites, and they were actually they were just like a couple $100.
Seriously.
Yeah. And they were screen used. They were the ones they wore. There was a certificate of authenticity, and I didn't buy them.
Oh,
I'm kicking myself to this day. That would have been so cool.
that really would have been, yeah. Because that's a pretty big piece for a movie, but only a couple $100. That's not bad.
Yeah. And actually worn by the man himself?
Yeah.
Man, I wonder if they still smell like him. I wonder if you can still smell his face on him.
Speaking of one of Troy's idols, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson paid a powerful tribute to the Queen Elizabeth II after a cruel fake tweet hoax. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and like I'd initially saw this hoax and people like it was spreading like wildfire, but we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, so Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has sent his love and support to the royal family following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. The WWE legend turned Hollywood superstar shared a poignant tribute after the British monarch died on Thursday, just a couple of days ago, aged 96. And his message came hours after he was the victim of a cruel fake tweet hoax. After the news of the Queen Elizabeth's death was reported on BBC and everywhere, they stopped their programming. A couple of Photoshopped tweets were shared on Twitter pretending to be from his account, trying the sad news to his upcoming DC blockbuster. The fake tweet read, "Rest in peace to Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II, a great woman who sat on the throne as long as anyone in British history. Sad she will never get to see Black Adam." Like, that's bad, but when I initially saw that,
That's funny.
Almost like half believed it was from him.
Well, and here's the thing. The Rock is he's such a
promoter.
He's such a promoter for all of his stuff. I mean, pretty much
whether it's his tequila.
Any interview you hear with him, he's
plugging something.
He's plugging something.
Whether he's wearing like their like workout shirts or something, whatever he's doing, like he's plugging stuff. Yeah.
And so I could, like you, I could almost see this.
When I initially saw it, I did see it on TikTok. Somebody was reporting about it, and I'm like, I don't know if that's 100% true. And then I got looking into it, and then came across this article. So yeah, without commenting on the prank, Dwayne later took to his account, his actual account on Twitter, shared his own emotional tribute to the Queen. Loved ones during such a difficult time. He said, "I am just swooped up," which, okay, that seems like he's almost like, Black Adam mode when he said that, but okay. "I'm just swooped up in really quite, I'm just swooping in really quickly to stop in and send my love and condolences, the light, the strength, and mana to the royal family during this time in the spirit of passing of the Queen. I'm so sorry. I know that the pain. I know that
It's supposed to be I know the pain, like we all know the pain, but they wrote paid.
Okay, gotcha. I'm like, I know the pain, like we all know the pain. What a life, what an incredible life. I've never had the privilege or the honor of meeting the Queen, but what a life. 7 decades of the longest running monarchy. What an impactful life.
Yeah.
The big screen hero reflected on the death and the passing of his father, Rocky Johnson, in early 2022. But yeah, it was just like kind of crazy that I almost believed those tweets to be true, but so many news outlets actually ran with those fake tweets.
Of course they did.
And it's so easy to fake a tweet.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous. And like I know people have poked fun at it now, like on social media, when it's just like, oh, this is a tweet from like Donald Trump, or oh, this is a tweet from whomever.
I was just gonna say, back when Trumpty Dumpty first got elected, there was a thing going around, and you can kind of manufacture or generate a tweet from him about yourself. And I did that, and I put it on social media, and people for a second actually thought that was a real tweet.
Like, wow, he actually mentioned you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, is this real? I'm like, it's super easy to do.
It is. And you'll see like all these people all the time like posting stuff about there's just like a quote by Benjamin Franklin or by whomever, and you're like, did they really say that? And it's just like, I can't wait to get my hands on the new iPhone from Benjamin Franklin, and just stupid shit like that.
And this post is really important because it's a black and white picture of a celebrity and has words over it.
But all these...
So you should listen to it.
All these celebrities, they do want to... all these news outlets want to be first, so they quickly grab anything that they come across and they're just like, let's report on this.
Yeah.
But I do like that he didn't mention the hoax at all, but I don't think that he was going to mention anything about the Queen to begin with, and then he felt like obligated to kind of put in his 2 cents because of these fake tweets.
Yeah, I think
so. It might be a little insincere. Yeah, he brought up his father and the passing of that.
I think there's just his way to kind of answer to it and
get ahead of
it, and have people understand what his actual feelings were, and just being able to comment on it. And I think that's what it was.
But do you think that he would have even said anything?
Probably not.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. One last story here. 3 classic Batman films are returning to theaters for Batman Day. Batman Day is set to take place later this month, beginning on Saturday, September 17th. 3 of the most beloved Batman films, so 6 days from now, 3 of the most beloved Batman films ever will be released into theaters. For fans of live-action films, 1989's Batman and the 1992 Batman Returns will be played. Both, of course, starred Michael Keaton. And then, also, the animated 1993 film, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, will also re-release in theaters.
Really?
Of course, starring Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. Yeah. Because initially, that was released in theaters.
Yeah.
In Christmas time '93, and no one saw it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're re-releasing it. I'm excited to see, and I will see Batman '89 in the theater because I've never seen it on the big screen.
No, neither have I. No,
I've only seen it on VHS and DVD. I've never seen it on the big screen, and I'm super stoked to see it.
You think you'll see any of the other ones?
Probably. I'll probably see all 3.
Yeah.
Because Batman Returns, I remember seeing in the theaters. I distinctly remember that.
I don't know if I did. But I know I had it on VHS.
Yeah. Same with Mask of the Phantasm. I didn't see that one in theaters. I only had that one on VHS as well. But yeah, I'll see all these. I don't care.
That's awesome. Are there any other Batman films that you'd love to see on the big screen again?
I'd like to re-release The Dark Knight. I'd like to see that one on screen again.
If they did some sort of a trilogy, that'd be kind of cool. Like, you know how they used to do with like the Harry Potter movies,
Yeah.
where they'd watch like have a huge marathon.
Yeah.
So you pay like $20, $25 or something, and you get to see all 3 Batman movies with intermissions. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Or
1 and 2 are the best, but you have to see all 3.
Yeah. Definitely not Batman and Robin. Batman Forever, maybe that might be kind of fun.
Yeah,
because Batman Forever, it has its flaws, but it's not the worst film. You know? You still got Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey, and it's kind of
for what it is, it's campy.
For what it is, it's kind of a fun film. So that wouldn't be too bad.
Perhaps they'll do this in like upcoming Batman days.
I'll tell you what they should do.
Yeah,
they should release those 4 main Batman films: Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. And for Batman and Robin, it should be scheduled where it releases at midnight, and it becomes kind of a Rocky Horror Picture Show type thing.
Yeah.
People yelling at the screen. They're, kind of making fun of it. Yeah.
Everybody's dressed up.
Yeah, everybody's dressed up. That would be cool. That would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun, yeah. Or they turn it into a musical.
Or that. Batman and Robin, the musical.
Yeah.
Interesting.
People are skating on ice. Yeah. There's a lot of potential.
Batman and Robin on ice. Like Disney on ice, but Batman and Robin on ice. Interesting.
We're just throwing out these $1 million ideas here.
Just throwing them out. All right. Let's get to our Revs and Rex.
Speaking of Batman, should we just start with Batman?
Might as well,
yeah. You'd already given a review on this, and I just barely, because I jokingly said to you, I don't have as much time as you do driving around, Like, I would occasionally listen to it on my ride to work, and when we had to go commute to these other locations for my work, but I only would get, 15, 20 minutes, and I was usually watching something else, or didn't necessarily want to, while I'm doing the dishes or hanging around my house, listen to it.
Yeah.
I kind of saved it just for the car ride. So it took me a little bit longer to get through, but I finally finished Batman Unburied.
Yes. This is the audio story. It stars Winston Duke as Batman, and I think Jason Isaacs is Alfred. Anyway,
for the most part, you were spot on with your review. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a kind of an interesting, unique story.
Yeah.
It did. I know it's kind of a spoiler here, but it did kind of bug me that it took forever and a day for them to figure out who the hell Poison Ivy was.
Right.
My hell!
I was they never met Poison Ivy before. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because right off the bat, as soon as they'd said anything or mentioned her at all, I'm like, oh, that's Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew right off the bat. But it took, this detective a whole episode to figure out who the hell she is. And what she was all about. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed the story, and I thought the actor that voiced the Riddler
was really good.
He knocked it out of the park. He was
really
fantastic. When he was getting the shit beat out of him, and he's also still wanting to help out, and up until the very end, he was a great great character. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Batman, however. Okay, Bruce Wayne, he did a fine job.
Fantastic.
It was perfect.
Winston Duke has that very low, deep voice. It's perfect for Bruce Wayne.
And I liked how they had Bruce Wayne getting inside of the mind of these victims.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of an interesting thing where he's just okay, I love this person. I'm doing this. But then when he's also Batman, and you got Barbara on the line, what the hell are you doing, Batman?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey. It was the worst Batman I've ever heard.
It's so bad.
It's cringy. It almost made me stop wanting to listen to it. I'm just like, I was glad that you didn't actually get Batman until like episode 3 or 4.
I thought have Winston Duke just record it and just modify his voice later.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know what he was doing. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea.
No.
But that voice was so bad.
It was really reminiscent of those cheesy YouTube videos of that guy that's like pretending to be Batman.
Yeah, like the Funny or Die skits and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Oh, 100%.
And so, hey, Christian Bale, all is forgiven.
Yeah.
You know, people make fun of that voice, but man, listen to that one. Holy shit.
Yeah. It was what, a 10-part series? 8, 10?
8 or 10.
Somewhere in there. It's worth checking out. It's great. And it's weird because I also got to listen to a couple of others. I didn't realize how many mini things that they have. Like, it's like a mini episode 10-part series on Spotify.
Yeah.
They've got a ton of different ones. I was like listening to Bloodthirsty Hearts and a couple other ones that were pretty good. I'm gonna have to like look into more of these.
Yeah, I tried to listen to a few, but...
Did you ever give Edge of Sleep a try?
No.
The Markiplier one?
Mm-mm.
Definitely. It's great.
I think the ones I was trying to listen to were like super amateur and the people really couldn't act.
Mm-hmm.
Although according to you, anybody can voice act. Motherfucker. But it was bad. And I was like, nah, I don't know. If I can find like a professional one that's done with professional actors, professional studio, like that Batman one, I'll listen to it.
Edge of Sleep. Check it out. I promise. You won't be disappointed.
All right, Edge of Sleep. I'll do that.
But yeah, like the story was fine, and for the most part, everybody else did a great job. That thing just takes you completely out of the the moment.
It really does.
As far as I think I'm probably at a 2.5, borderline 3 with that one. Like, it's like right smack dab in the middle. It was kind of a good introduction into this whole Spotify universe and world, and I liked that it was a new creative original story, and they introduced a new killer into the mix. I'm always a fan when they can like try to bring somebody new for Batman to go, toe to toe with.
Right, and that's the thing. The story itself was actually really quite creative.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very original story, but holy shit, did they fail on that Batman voice?
Yeah.
Man.
One other thing that I did get a chance to check out, and I know that the final episode doesn't come out until the 15th, but I want to talk about it and already give my review because I already know kind of where I stand on it. So this is, it's called Mike, and it's on Hulu, and it's based off of Mike Tyson and his whole life.
Yeah.
Now it is a mini-series because it's only going to be the one season, and it stars Trenton Rodens, Laura Harris, and Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel.
Or excuse me, Keitel.
Okay.
Yeah. This show, so it starts off initially where he's talking in front of Mike Tyson, adult Mike Tyson is talking in front of a crowd, and he's just like, yeah, we'll get to that eventually, to the whole biting the ear, but let's take a step back. And they go all the way back to his childhood and kind of have the rough childhood that he had growing up and how he learned to fight and what kind of like was that final switch that just like clicked over and made it just kind of made him take to the streets and be brutal. And then it goes up to when he was 13 years old, and also and when he was a 13-year-old where he was fighting these 18-year-olds, like pretending to be an adult because he was a big kid.
Right.
And yeah, he was winning fights left and right. And up into adulthood through his marriages, through his love interests, like it was really fascinating. And that Trevante, dude does a fantastic job of being Mike Tyson, like a little bit younger Mike Tyson. Like he's got the whole mannerisms and like the goofy laugh and the voice. They've nailed it spot on. He
must have had to really bulk up for this role.
Yeah, he legit did though, because he looks pretty badass.
Okay.
This show, it's definitely worth a watch if you kind of wanted. I mean, they do glamorize a little bit like Mike Tyson's life and play off some of the stuff, but they don't shy away from showing that he was like a womanizer and that he did a shit ton of drugs and he was robbing and stealing, and so they don't shy away from that, but they do also kind of embrace it, and it works because you're going back and forth, and you also get Mike Tyson occasionally breaking the fourth wall where he's just like, yeah, I did take his money, you know, but it works, and this is a fantastic series. I didn't realize he had the rapport that he had with this guy, Cuz. His first kind of, well, no, I guess it would have been his second, but his main mentor that kind of introduced him into the ring. And they had like this plan written out for him that he was going to win the Olympics by 18 and then move into his professional career, and things didn't happen that way. But yeah, it's really good, really fascinating. And I'm not even that huge of a fan of Mike. I mean, I appreciate and admire what he did.
Right.
And yeah, he's done some stupid shit in recent years, but yeah, it's a fascinating story. It's kind of like a documentary, but also you get pretty invested. Out of 5 gloves, I think I'm going to have to go with 4 on this one. It's really good.
Right.
Yeah, and then like the final episode of the series comes out on the 15th, so you still have time to kind of like play catch up. Each episode's like 20-something minutes, so it's not bad.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch the whole thing after the final episode comes out.
Oh yeah, it's worth a watch for sure.
Because I've never been like you. I've never been a huge Mike Tyson fan.
No, yeah.
But
I respect the craft, and I respect the game, and I respect what he did for the whole boxing community and that. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode, everybody. If you're a patron, head over to our DLC. We're going to be talking about everything that came out of D23.
Oh, there's a lot of good stuff.
There's a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about the trailers and all the other announcements, so click over there. But for now, here's where you can listen to us. You can hear all our episodes, plus our bonus DLC episodes at patreon.com/WorldWarG.
Or you can listen to just the episode at worldwarg.podbeam.com or wherever you download podcasts.
If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us at facebook.com/WorldWarG podcast. If you'd like to purchase our merchandise or purchase some merch, you can head to worldwarg.myspreadshop.com.
Also, if you'd like to show your support for the podcast, the best way to do so is to rate, review, or share us.
So, this has been World War G. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends.